Okay, here's part two. I've taken and heated it up and rolled it, mashed it down with my hands, formed it to it. Yeah, so there it is. It's the reflection's making it look like it's off, but it's actually not. The other thing is I've a little frustrated that the aspect ratio that I record in does not seem to be the one that shows up on YouTube. I've got my cell phone laying sideways recording this just like the other ones, and it looks like I'd recorded it in the straight up and down, or the landscape and whatever aspect ratio, anyways, in the wrong ratio. I think that when you open it, you have to have it in the aspect that you want it in before you even think about doing anything else. So you can't like open it and then turn it over on its side and hit start. You've got to have it on its side when you open it, and that ratio for it to record. Well, that's my theory anyways. Just know that I'm trying to get these things a little better quality for you, a little bit more helpful. I use the propane torch to heat up the rubber and the adhesive, and I use the Gorilla Tape indoor outdoor, I think it's 38-pound tape, two-sided tape, and it looks like it's on there pretty good. I don't feel any bubbles underneath. It feels like it's completely adhered all the way around, and should provide a measure of protection for the hull. And at the end of the day, that's all it's about. Now, yeah, I see it's a little twisted, but hey, for the first time ever doing this, and pulling it out of your backside and saying, hey, I think I'm gonna try this, it's okay. Is it perfect? No. Is it okay? Yeah. And again, this is just cut a section out of your tire, and then understand that there's a stainless steel wire, multiply wire, here and here, and that's your bead that causes it to stay locked on the rim. And you had to cut through it and then cut it across before you can do any shaping. And I chose there was a ridge. I think I cut all the ridge off. It's like right there. I cut right alongside the ridge so I could get a straight edge. You can see part of it right there. Okay. But yeah, I need to trim those fingernails. But I knew I had to do this, so I didn't want to do it until I got all this, because I figured I'd be peeling tape and no fingernails. It's an absolute pain in the ass, so it is what it is. Yeah. So I cut the steel rail belt out of it on each side, and then I notched it so that it would give it a little bit wider grip, and then I notched it this way to kind of round it so that it wouldn't be a straight edge that would be catching on stuff. And this right here is rounded like this because I didn't want to have to make a whole bunch of cuts and piece it and mash it together and then have all these little access points for water to just go right into the adhesive. So I just chose to notch it out. This is the part that gets hit, not so much this. And again, understand, I know this is going to stop my kayak. I know it's going to be a pain in the butt to load it up on the trailer. There's a trade-off. My trade-off that I'm willing to make is not continually rubbing the crap and beating the crap out of my the nose of my kayak for a little sense of peace, and to not continue sliding on past, hitting my Mirage Drive, and then my transducer, then my skeg, then my rudder. And I have hit every one of those. Now, I had toyed with putting something here on the pontoon because it's been getting a little scuffed up. And again, the number one reason that I got that fish finder was not to particularly find fish. You know, it was more as a preventative measure so I wasn't finding oyster bars or oyster beds, and they're just all over the place out here. And you start getting out there when the tide is low, you're not paying attention, and next thing you know, you're in a tidal zone that puts you down where you really need to be careful coming out, and you need to come out immediately. And more than one time you're going to hit an oyster bed. So to mitigate that, that's what that's about. So if you like this at all, give me a thumbs up, maybe a share, maybe a subscribe. And as I get more things that I'm doing and more things that I'm trying to accomplish with this thing, I will definitely bring them to you post haste. Thanks.